Welcome to CompSci360, the ultimate virtual summit for MS in computer science in the UK. This two-day summit will give you a 360-degree view around everything related to MS in computer science in the UK, with subject knowledge experts and student mentors from top universities. Before we hear from the expert, we want to walk you through the CompSci community on the Nebula platform, a dedicated space for you to connect with other attendees and build lasting relationships with fellow computer science enthusiasts. Throughout this summit, you will interact with a number of subject knowledge experts, and if you wish to get a personalized one-on-one mentorship session or get your queries addressed, you can book a slot with them by visiting their Nebula profile. We believe that this session will enhance your learning experience and help you achieve your study abroad goals. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope you enjoy the summit.
Hi everyone, welcome to the first Nebula talk of this track in CompSci360. In this session, we will be discussing the strategies to shortlist the best MS in computer science programs and specializations in the UK that most aspirants are unaware of. My name is Namita Murali Narayanan, a community content creator here at Nebula, and I will be your host for this talk. But before we get into our session, I would like to give you a brief introduction to Nebula, CompSci360, and how this Nebula talk is going to work. Nebula is a community that helps aspirants eliminate their fears of staying in an unknown land while studying or working. To help them tangibly shape their future without any difficulties, we have created a platform that could help people wandering about. Many highly accomplished immigrant expats push their boundaries, and we have built a very powerful community driven ecosystem that brings people and technology together. Now, CompSci 360 is a summit organized by Nebula to help students aspiring to study MS in computer science programs in the UK. And we aim to provide all of you here today the knowledge, resources, and insights you will need to make informed decision about your education and career. For this session, please ensure that you are sitting in a quiet area with an undisturbed internet connection. In order for this session to be an interactive one, I would request you all to drop your questions, comments, and doubts in the chat section. These will be addressed by the speaker during the Q&A session at the end of the talk. All right then, without further ado, let me introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Suyog. Suyog is an alumnus of Queen Mary
Thank you.
University of London who has completed his MSc in Artificial Intelligence and is now a research assistant in the Cognitive Science Group at Queen Mary University of London. Today, he will be taking us through and sharing his valuable insights on the best strategies to shortlist the best MS in computer science programs and specializations in the UK that most aspirants really want to learn about. Very welcome to the Stocks, Yog.
Hi, thank you, Nabil, and hello everyone.
Oh, we are very excited to have you here with us today. So, Suyog, to start with, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to pursue an MS in artificial intelligence?
So I'm originally from my birthplace is Jaipur, and I undergraduate in computer science from IIIT Guwahati in 2019. After completing my graduation, I was working as a full stack developer in Delhi and Noida, and then I worked for there almost like 1.5 year. And after that, COVID hit. So after COVID, I decided to pursue further education instead of doing a regular 9 to 5 job and pursue my career in the field of research and innovation. And that's how I choose artificial and as an AI growing field, I chose AI as my career. And I did my MSc in AI at QMUL from September 21 to 22. And then after I completing my graduation, I got a job as a research assistant at Queen Mary in Cognitive Science Lab. So that's all. That's how I ended up in
That's
UK.
very cool.
Yeah.
So happy to hear that. It's very difficult to pursue your dream and go to a place despite hearing a lot of comments and questions from your family and everyone around you. But I'm so happy that you
Yeah.
went with it. So, Suyok, what do you think are some of the common misconceptions about MS in computer science programs that you have come across while you were doing research for yourself on courses, specializations, or colleges and universities?
Uh, First, I think the major misconception that especially Indians, have is that all MSc program, whether you do MSc from this university or that university, are same. It does not like that in UK. In UK, it is highly specialized courses which you have to take every like in if I compare to India, in Indian university we have Department of Computer Science, Department of Electronics, and they offered BTech, MTech, and PhD programs. In UK, it's completely different. In UK, we have schools, and schools offer different programs. So you have to choose what kind of specialization you want to do. Do you want to do? So just doing MSc in computer science will not help you. You have to kind of specialize toward a one particular field. Another thing is that everybody says that UK in general is very expensive. It is like in compared to India, it is quite expensive. But I think you can manage as a student if you know your ways around, if you know where to get a cheap food, and how do you and where to apply discounts, and that's all. I think you can survive in UK very well, pretty good, and on like minimum wages as well. So yeah, these are the two major misconceptions that people have. That first of all, it is very expensive. It is expensive compared to India, but you can survive like if you know your way around the things.
That's wonderful. I like the fact that you also spoke a little bit about where to get, as in, you have to find ways to get cheap food because I think that's
Yeah,
one of the major questions Indians would have while going
Indians would have.
to the
Yeah,
UK or
definitely.
anywhere abroad.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. What do you think are some of the strategies to narrow down someone's options when considering different MS in computer science program? Like you said, getting a specialization is very important. But what is that one aha moment where you can find that one course that is meant for you?
This is I would say that you have to specifically look where you want to pursue your career. For example, you can go into robotics, you can go into AI, you can go into research on operating system or hardware. So it depends very specifically where you want to take your career. And my personally, I would suggest that select your program based upon what kind of specialization you want to do. Don't just go behind the name of university that okay, it is Cambridge, I will go and do it over here. It does not matter where in especially in the West, it does not matter whether you are in from top university or low university. It's all depend on uh, what kind of specialization you are doing. If you are good at it, it does not matter where you come from. It does not matter what kind of university you did. You can go into like if you see the rank of Queen Mary and Cambridge, Cambridge is way above. But still, I would say that if you want to pursue your career in AI, then Queen Mary is better than Cambridge. It's highly specific to your specialization and what kind of things that you want to pursue in your further career. So
Right.
that's the one key point that you have to keep in mind when you selecting your program. That select only those program and those university which offers very specific specialization in which you want to do, which you are interested in.
Right. I have a follow up question just hearing to your answer. So, many students here have just graduated from undergraduation or are still in the final year of their undergraduation. So, do you think it's necessary for them to think about what they're going to do in their post graduation, like during those years as well? Or should they like graduate and then think about what do they want to do in the future?
I would say start like as it's really good if you start early. It kind of helps solves a lot of problem. Otherwise, what happens is after your graduation, you have a period of like say 1 or 2 years where you are doing nothing. So it just a complete. It's ended up resulting in no. It ended up with the no result. So it's better to start early so that you can figure out okay, this is I want to do, this is what I'm interested in, this is where I want to make it, where I can think of doing this thing for rest of my life. So it's really good if you are start early.
Right. So, do you think there are any specializations within MS in computer science programs that you think are underrated or, in general overlooked?
Oh yeah, there are a lot of programs. So like right now, if you see, majority of the people are doing either are going in AI or in robotics because those are the topics that are kind of a hot in market, or I would say buzzword in the market. But there are a lot of other programs. For example, operating system research and operating system is something that people are actually doing a lot, because the way hardware is changing, we need to change our operating systems. Hardware, another thing is that hardware in computer science is something which is people are changing a lot, especially with the introduction of quantum computer and all those things. So those keep a lookout on those things as well. Like these are the things that in the future, right now they are not in that much of demand, but in the future they are definitely going to be in demand, that's for sure.
Right. So, with the little conversation that we had before this session, you told me that you worked in India for a little bit before going and pursuing your master's. So, do you think having that in hand experience is important to do your master's, or do you think it is all in based and learned from the university?
No, I would say having an in-hand experience always helps a lot, especially after when you complete your studies and when you look out for a job or something. It definitely helps you. It's kind of a given extra edge over the other people that you are doing, uh, and so yeah, and especially not only just job experience. I would say any kind of a, whether you have a research experience, whether you have some publication or not, all those little things matters a lot, especially when you go for your job. Because see, in the end, there will be like 200, 300 people graduating from your course. They all have degrees, they all have marks. So marks does
Right.
not matter in the end. What matters is how much, what extra you have put in. So whether you are doing a job or whether you have published for have some public kind of a publication or all those things, these kind of things matters a lot.
So, what do you think are some major factors, other than the program itself that the students want to choose, that someone should consider when choosing a university to attend their MS in computer science and any specialization?
Uh, Primarily, I would say finance. Definitely finance. You have to look out for okay, this is what my budget is. This is where I'm, because countries like UK, and specifically if you are living in London, rent is something that really high is over here as compared to like other cities in UK. So you have to always look out and manage your finances. That's the one major thing. Second thing, I would say is that specifically when you come to if you go to any cities or any other country outside of India, make sure that you know your surroundings very well. I would say like if you have somebody who is already familiar with the territory where you are going, so it helps a lot. It's really hard to find the people who, like, for example, try to find out someone who has already lived in the city from the same area, or you can make a connection to someone who has already living in there or has been living in there, so that it's really helps you a lot to find out what kind of things you can do in the city, because they are familiar with the area, so they know where to get a cheap food, where to get good clothes, and all those things. So those kinds of things matters a lot. So primarily, I would say finance is the one thing that you have to manage. Make sure that your finance are good, stable, and when you, especially when you are selecting a university, don't just look at the fees. Look at the total cost of living for the period of 1 year. It will include your rent, food, travel, and everything. So if you just include the fees, no, you have to include the whole. Think of the whole picture.
Right.
That's the one major factor. Apart from that, everything else can be managed. But yeah, finance is the one thing that you have to really be good at and manage in advance. That's for sure.
Right. It's good that you mentioned that because, like many students, like when I was a student, the only thing I was focusing on was financing my education. We would never think
Yeah,
about, other finances like rent or food or anything
no,
else.
no. Like, yeah, definitely. But like, especially when you live abroad, you especially when you live abroad, you have to think of that. Okay, you cannot get, like, you have to, especially as an Indian, it's not like you will go to shop or buy a piece of slice and you will survive your day. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to eat the proper food and make sure that you are getting your body a good sleep and everything. So rent and food and everything, they actually ended up making more, might actually exceeds your expectation. Okay, oh, I didn't expect that it will cost this much, so be prepared in advance.
Oh, damn. Okay. I think that's a
Yeah,
good advice for students. All right. So
yeah.
now you are someone who did your research and went to UK. So you being someone who has first-hand experience, what do you think are some of the key differences between MS in computer science programs in the UK and in other countries?
If, for example, let's compare UK and US. So, first of all, the major difference I would say doing the masters in US is that it is for 2 years,
Hmm.
and then and in UK it is for 1 year. So the fees is just double. First of all, second thing is that you
Right.
have to think of working opportunities, which market is better, and not only that, you have to think of okay where I can get my visa very easily, because when you live abroad you have to think of visa. You can only stay here and work here as long as you have a valid visa. So you have to, like, for example, in US we have H1 visa system on. In UK we have PWS, postgraduate study work visa. So you have to think of all those factors as well. Okay, if I go there and I want to work over there, so which country will be more feasible for me in terms of visa and everything, because in the end visa will also cost money whether you go to US or UK. So you have to think of okay, which country provide me which country is providing me with the better opportunities as compared to other countries. Like for example, whether you compare UK, Europe, or US, you have to think of okay, this is here for 1 year, this is here for 2 years. They are providing work visa for 2 years. They are providing for visa for 6 months, and all those kind of things also matters.
Can you tell me about the role that internships or other enhance? You spoke about how not just jobs, all experiences are important. But being a student, we might not always intern with the same type of company or the same type of role. So would this be a major factor when you're looking for admissions? If I have just one internship in a particular, let's say, artificial intelligence field, would that be like a factor that weigh into your admission, or how is that going to work with various internships?
Uh, yes, definitely. Internship provide you a little bit of benefit. That internship basically says that okay, you have work in industry, you have some working experience in industry, and yes, it has definitely helps in your in your application when you apply for any program. It does not matter like whether you applied for UK or US. It definitely helps. But I would say like if you are going for internship, then I would say having a research paper is more beneficial than having an internship, I would say. But it's not like internship doing if I do internship it will be worthless. No, it has some meaning, it has some importance. When you apply for industry or when you apply for a job, it definitely going to help you. But my personal suggestion would be that if you are interested, if you are going for internship, if you have, then instead of internship, I would say that try to publish a good paper within the span of let's say 6 or 7 months, rather than doing an internship, because having a research papers definitely not only push you over the edge, not only in industry but in academics also. Like especially there is a huge demand of people who have a academic experience in industry. Like for example, there is a gap between industry and academics in terms of research. What academics do and what scientists are doing is, and what industry are doing, there is a big gap in between both of these two sectors. So there is a huge demand of people who can fulfill these gaps. So if you
Right.
have a research paper, that means that you are good in academics, and if you go into industry, you will always have a cutting edge advantage over the other people as well.
All right. So now you mentioned in the previous response of yours that in UK, MSc courses are just 1 year as opposed to US or other countries as well. Do you think students have this misconception that because other countries have 2 years, they are giving more intrinsic or more value than the 1 year in UK? Do you think that's like a common misconception?
Y- Yes, but you have to look at the bigger picture. Like, see, if you go for, see, you have to look what that particular program is offering. If that what the program is offering is actually for 2 years, then I would say go better. It's for 2 years. But if the program, let's say, if they are teaching you the same subject which you did in your bachelor, then there is no point of studying all those subjects ever again. So,
Right.
like for example, if you go and do MSc in computer science from US, you will find that a lot of the subject you might already have been studying in your bachelor. So why to study them again? Why to like it does not make any sense. And
Right.
why to
Right.
pay for the same thing again which you have already studied in your bachelor's?
Hmm.
So you have to see, you have to think of all those things as well. Like what are the courses that program is offering. Let's say, for example, the program is offering study operating systems. So operating system is already included in BTech Computer Science, so you don't have to study it again. It will be the same thing.
Right.
So you have instead of studying just again, instead of just repeating, look at what are the new subject it's offering. If it is offering something new which actually takes 2 years, then it is worth of doing it. But if it's not, then there is no point of doing it.
Right. So, do you think there are any tips or any suggestions where a student can prepare themselves to stand out when applying to an MS in computer science program?
Yes, as I have already mentioned, publication is the top thing that people or professors always look out. The student who
Right.
have publication, they will always stand out of among the crowd. Another thing is that industry experience. If you have industry experience also, because universities across the global, they do collaboration with the different industries and everything. So having experience definitely helps a lot in that field also. Third thing, internship also kind of an indication that you have some industrial experience. So all those things. Also, another thing is that having a co-curriculum activity. For example, if you are in volunteer in some organization, if you have done some kind of volunteer work, it also helps in your uni life, because there are a lot of voluntary work going on in the university always. Like for example, if I take example of Queen Mary always organizes a lot of voluntary to make sure that they are helping their community. So having those kind of experiences also helps a lot.
Right. So, I'm guessing that you, before joining, must have done your own research paper, correct?
No, I directly got my admission through my job
Right.
experience only. So I right now I'm writing my paper and hopefully it will be published. So
Okay.
fingers are
I
crossed
feel
for
like
that.
that's where I feel like that's where you have like first-hand experience of saying, okay, I know this is important. At least you'll
Yeah,
impart the knowledge to the further students.
yeah,
That's great.
this actually, like, research is something that people in India don't give importance a lot. But like if you have industry experience, especially in the West, I would say like a lot of like you already like way above most of the population.
Right.
It's definitely
Uh,
give you an extra edge, trust me. Yeah.
Oh, so so is it like, do you do your research paper? This is just for my understanding. Do you do your research paper when you join the course? Do you like think about what the research paper is going to be? How is the mentor choosing, and how is it that you go through it? You being a person who has never done it, as would be many other Indian students as well. How do you go
Yeah.
about that?
So, first of all, you have to decide in which particular field you want to do, and then you have to find a professor who can help you in that. And then, after finding a professor, you have to select a problem statement. Now, this is might be easy. Okay, how hard it is to find a problem, but this is the most difficult part of writing a research paper is selecting a formulating a problem into a proper computer science problem and then trying to find a solution. See, finding a solution is easy. If there is a problem, there is a solution, but finding a problem itself is a problem. So
I
yeah,
have no
this sounds
doubt.
easy. I know this sounds very easy and very silly. How hard it is to find a problem? Trust me, it is. People spend years just to find out a proper problem. Like I know a lot of PhD who just spend 1 or 2 years in finding out their problem statement. Okay, this is the problem that I want to work on. So yeah, so these are the three most important things. First, select your field. Second, a professor, and third, problem statement.
All right. So, in your own experience as an MSc in Artificial Intelligence alumni, what influenced your perspective on what makes a program great?
What kind of specialization they are offering and what kind of research they are offering. These are the two most important things. Specifically for someone, if I take example of my own program, MSc at Queen Mary offers a lot of research opportunities as well. So you can go, like for example, if I go in a little bit, there are a lot of research opportunity within natural language processing, computer vision, and all those things. So when you look out for any program, make sure that aligns with your interest, what kind of specialization or what kind of things are you interested in. Second, look at what are the uh, post graduation opportunities are available in that particular field, whether it's in the field of research or whether in industry or academics, I would say.
Right. All right. So, coming back to our conversation about jobs and research papers and all of that, do you think so? Doing this research, let's say it's great. You have to do a research paper while you're doing MSc, and it is also best if you do it before. But how important or what is the value it has once you graduate and once you go out into the real world?
Okay, so uh, uh, okay, how do I put this? Okay, let me put a number on this. Okay, suppose you just graduated, you let's say did MSc in computer science from Queen Mary. If you don't have any research paper, your starting salary would be around 30 to 40,000 pounds. Okay, per
Okay.
year. If you have a research paper, a good research paper in some good publication, your starting salary would be 60,000 pounds.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I think that's a better way to put it. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that that has influenced a lot of students to start the
yeah,
research paper today.
yeah.
All
Having
right.
a good
So,
publication and from a good conferences helps a lot.
right.
Definitely helps a
Okay.
lot.
So, again, keeping in mind the fact that most students here attending this are final year students or recent graduates, they are still learning. They are still confused as to what they want to pursue and what their future holds for them. So, me personally, I had a lot of options to do my masters in, and then I chose a masters. So, for students like that, what is that one thing you would say to is there like like you said, is there a job that you need to find, or is there a research that they need to do to find, okay, this is the course I want to do my masters in?
Before you go into job or research, I would say find an area that you are really interested in. Like find an area that you can think, okay, this is something that I can do for rest of my life. Ah, before
Right.
you make any decision, think of it. Okay, this is something that I can do for rest of my years, and if I can make a money out of it, that's additional benefit. Now,
Right.
making a money is a different topic, whether you do buy a job or whether you are in academics, whether you become a professor and all those things, etc. That's a different thing. But the basic question that everybody should ask to themselves is that, okay, this is something that I am interested in. This is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. That's it.
Right.
Like, let's say you are pursuing B.Tech in computer science. Okay, within the computer science also there are many fields. So try to find a field that you are actually interested in. Okay, this is, for example, robotics. Okay, this is something that I can do. Operating system or machine learning or AI. Okay, this is something that I am genuinely interested in and I want to do this thing. So before you make any decision, answer these questions.
All right. So that brings us to our last question for today. What do you, as a person in UK who has done your masters, what is that one advice, or let's say a top advices that you would give students who are just starting out, who are just young buds coming out and looking at their masters programs in UK? Like
Uh,
advices or advice, whatever you want.
uh, I would say uh, definitely I would say like if you want to pursue your career and you want to get your MSc from here, select one particular area that you want to do. This is the most important thing. Like this may sound ridiculous or this may sound silly. Okay, what he is talking about, but trust me. Like I know people who have quit their jobs after 2 years or 3 years doing. Like I'm from Triple IT Guwahati. I know a lot of people who study BTech computer science, but later on become something completely different because they don't want to pursue career in computer science.
Right.
So, I know a lot of people like them. So make sure that you ask your all these questions. Okay, okay. Do I actually want to go out? Do I actually want to do this for the rest of my life? Like
Right.
interest is something that it's really hard to find out, and it may take some time. Definitely, it will take some time. But like you will have an answer. Somebody have an answer like within 1 month or within a week. Somebody have an answer to this question in 6 months or something like that. So try to find out answers for all of this question. Okay, this is something can I do? Is this even worth doing it for me? Is there any better opportunity within India? Like there are a lot of opportunity within India also. Right now, government of India is doing a lot of work specifically in AI. If you are interested in someone who want to pursue their career in AI, look out for all those opportunities as well. For example, ISC Bangalore, Indian Institute of Science Bangalore is offering a lot of good programs for academics in AI. So look out for those programs as well. It's not like, okay, I will come to UK, join any university and get a degree and I will be happy. No, look out for different programs within the India also. There are a lot of good programs abroad also. There are a lot of good programs going on, not just in UK or US. Singapore, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, they all offer really good programs in AI right now. So look out for everything. Make sure that you do your research very well, very thoroughly before you make any decision.
Right. Awesome. That's great advice. We
Yeah.
do have some questions in the audience chat. So let's go through one by one and answer a few of them. The first question is from Anusha. What was the transition from India to the UK like? What culture and educational pattern shock did you get?
Or the biggest shock, I would say, the food.
I bet.
uh, yeah, and education wise is completely different. I would say, like for example, in like Indian education system is highly exam based education system. You give your exam,
Right.
you get your grades, and that's it. It's not like in UK. It's completely different. In UK, it's all about your assessment and what you are doing, and it's a step by step process. It's not like you just
Right.
go one day, you will write on paper and you will get a mark and that's it. No, you will get an assignment. There will be marks, some percentage to like for example, this mass assignment, let's say carry 10% weightage. So some marks for that, some marks for next assignment, some marks for the next assignment. So it's a very step by step process. So
Right.
that's I would say a different thing from Indian education system.
Right. We have a question from our internal team. Which is the one thing that you love the most about studying in the UK?
Interacting with a lot of people from different cultures, definitely. Like
Right.
I have interacted with almost all the major people. Like I have interact with the Italians, Europeans, uh, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Sri Lankans, Africans. I think so. Like the different cultures, the way the different cultures and kind of a mix together, and the kind of way they share their values is something that is really I would. That's a memory that I will cherish for the rest of my life. That's for sure. I would say.
Wonderful. So Hannah says she's looking forward to reading your papers. So is there a place where we can find your papers, or if you could, if you're still doing it, so you're still finding a publishing house
No,
in case
yeah,
so.
yeah. So I don't think so. Even after you can directly download it,
Oh, is
because
it?
most of
Okay.
the because most of the conferences are right now paid. So you have to pay
Mhm.
some fees, and then only you will be able to access my papers.
Oh,
So
I
like
see.
I have
Okay.
like for universities generally like most of the universities in India also they usually have a subscription for all those services. So if you have a uni email address, then you can access it. You have to check whether your particular university is basically have a subscription for that particular conference or not.
Right. All right.
Like for
Hannah
example, I
asks
have
another.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, please. Sorry.
Like for example, I have an address of Queen Mary email
Hmm.
address of Queen Mary, so I have access almost to all the journals in the world. So yeah, so you have to check your university what kind of journals
I see.
they are.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
All right. So, but an outside person can access this if they pay a certain amount of fees.
yes.
Okay, all right. Hannah continues to ask a question. What is the career prospect in artificial intelligence like in the coming future?
In coming future, definitely there will be a lot of job opportunities. I would say, specifically for the way things are moving forward. Specifically in like for example, I don't know whether you have heard of Chat GPT or not.
Yeah, it's trending
Yeah.
all over.
Yeah, it's trending all over the internet. So the way things are moving, I think there will be a lot of opportunities, that's for sure.
Right. Anusha asks, how many universities should I keep in my final shortlisted colleges list?
The same thing I would say, keep those programs and universities which align to your particular interest.
Right. So there is no
And
like set number, keep top three or top five or anything.
no, 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 definitely not. I would not recommend that. Align, see, rather than going by name, I would say go by interest. That is more beneficial in long term. Like
Right.
that's my own personal advice, I would say. Yeah.
Jency asks, what are some of the current trends or advancements in computer science that MS program in the UK are focusing on, and which programs are at the forefront of these developments? That's a big
I
question
would
for you.
definitely, I would say AI or machine learning, and within the machine learning domain or within the AI domain also, there are a lot of different. Like for example, robotics is there, and natural language processing is there, computer vision is there. So definitely, big data is also there. Kind of a big data analysis. I would say machine learning and AI in general. I would say these three are the uh, frontier of these all these major development. I would say.
Right. So Joffel asks, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I am planning MSc Data Science in UK for September 2023 intake. I have around 2 years experience as Python developer, but I don't have experience in data science field. What are the things I should learn or prepare before coming to UK?
Uh, First of all, I would say learn cooking. Most important thing, learn cooking. Yeah, learn cooking. Second, okay, this is for your personal life. And second, if you don't have any data science experience, that's fine. But you will definitely, over the period of like 1 year, you will definitely learn what is overall, what is the data science and everything. But I would say before you move forward, take some online courses in Udemy or some Coursera. There are a lot of free courses available, so you can do that for just to gain a little bit of introduction and everything. And or you can what you can do is there are a lot of books as well. You are working or you have already working as a Python developer, so all you need to know is that what are the concept rather than actual implementation, because you are already working as a developer, so you already have a understanding of programming. So just having a idea, or there are a lot of books with, like for example, Introduction to Data Science, which you can read to have a little bit of understanding of okay, what is the overall picture of and everything.
Right. Anusha asks again, how important is research in the, I think you covered that in the field of computer science
Yeah,
when choosing an MS
yeah,
program. It's very important. You have already mentioned that. Uh,
yeah.
just because of the time constraint, I'm moving on to the next question. Um, Hannah asks, what benefits does studying in the UK provide that other countries don't? I think you've mentioned that as well, but you can go
Yeah,
ahead and answer if you have any more points to add to that.
yeah, I would repeat the same point. It's all depend on what kind of course you want to do. I would say, like if you ask in terms of finance, UK is of 1 year and US is of 2 years. So you're definitely saving some money. So that's a one point of view from finance point of view. You can just start working after the 1 year only instead of spending 2 years. And also, you have to think of visa and everything because visa is something that controlled by the government. So you have to look after okay, what are the policies that government is implementing for their international students and what for their work visa and everything. So right now UK provide 2 years of work visa. So that's a good thing. You can work for 2 years and then only you need sponsorship. But in US you need sponsorship just after you graduate. So
Right.
that's a cool thing about that.
Okay. So I think it's best to recommend a pros and cons list of which country you
Yeah.
want to go to and then go with
It,
it.
yeah, it's something that you have to do your own research, to be honest.
Right.
Like
Okay.
something is good for me does not necessarily apply it will good for you as well.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
Ishani asks, what are some of the current trends or advancements in
I
computer
think
science
we have
that
answered this
MS
question.
Yeah,
This is
well, correct. Yes, we have.
yeah,
Focusing on and which programs are at the forefront. I think we have just that question was
yeah,
there earlier.
yeah.
Okay. Can you recommend some professional networking opportunities or events related to computer science that I can attend while pursuing my MS in the UK?
If you are already pursuing your MS in UK, your university will provide you, or like generally, university sends emails to your mail address of the all the events that are happening within your university and in your area as well. So, like for example, if I take example of my university, when I was student, so university used to send me an email from time to time to sending the details of where this event is happening over here. You can go there, and this is the event that is happening within the university. So you can come and attend. So you will get all those things through your university only. There will be a career department in your university, so try to contact them and learn how it works. I would say because it is very
Right.
specific from university to university.
All right. That's great. All right, then. So I think that was the last question. Someone is typing. I don't see another question, but I can see that someone's trying to ask a question. All right, that was just a thank you. All right. So thank you so much from my end as well, Suyog, for taking the time out to join us today. I can confidently say that we have gained a lot of knowledge about the best strategies to shortlist the best MS in computer science programs and specializations in the UK. But we have got another question. How important is industry collaboration when selecting an MS program in computer science?
I think I will answer that question
Yeah,
already.
with the jobs that you can go
Yeah.
to and research papers. Yes.
Okay.
All right, then. I think that comes to the end of our session. I would also like to thank everyone who has attended this. And we have a lot more interesting and exciting Nebula talks coming right up, which is best strategies to craft competitive application, about achieving scholarship and part-time jobs by various mentors and student from top universities. So make sure to stay for those as well to get the full 360-degree information you need to start your study abroad journey in the UK. Thank you for joining us. Bye, Siyog. I'll see you